If you've ever wondered why two people with seemingly equal talents and education can turn out so differently, with one excelling at a high level and the other fizzling out, never realizing their potential, then this episode is for you. I am going to share with you 5 simple tips that you can tap into to help you realize your full potential. Hello and welcome to Coach Amina Z TV, where you have full permission to reach the highest level of your creative potential. Today, I want to start with a story. 2 budding creative warriors leave school filled with dreams for the future. Perhaps they're creative writers who dream of writing the great novel or creating the next great ad campaign for a major brand. They start the journey of their creative careers at equal marks, full of optimism and potential. Fast forward 10 years later, Creative Warrior A is thriving. He's evolving. He's progressing strongly and confidently in the direction of his dreams. Creative Warrior B, on the other hand, well, he's a shadow of all he ever dreamt to be. Instead of progressing forward, he's instead going in another direction, further away from what he had hoped to be. He has settled in La La Land. And some people remark that it's such a shame that he never lived up to his potential. What causes such different results from people who set out almost equally as talented and with equal education and experience? What makes us excel? What makes us settle? What allows us to live up to our potential? The bottom line is that we all have potential. And you know, when I think of that word potential, it brings a smile on my face because it's always positive. Potential is filled with hope. It hints at greatness. It's a word based on possibilities. Everyone has potential. It's what you do with it that matters and how you apply it. Let's talk about the concept of potential. Researchers define potential as the skill and the will to develop and perform at a higher level in future. When we see someone, for instance, we say, oh, she has a lot of potential. But potential is not tangible. It's not something we can touch and feel. But there's something that can crystallize potential. It's called leadership. Leadership is defined as the action of leading a group of people or an organization. Think of sports team with coaches or corporations with CEOs. They are the people charged with getting results, leading their group towards success. But what happens when that organization isn't producing as much as they should or isn't achieving success? What do? They may retrain their people or adjust processes, but most of the time they change leadership. What they're saying in effect is, let's get a stronger leader so that we can be more effective. How does this apply when we speak of your personal potential? Well, leadership is first of all personal. I'm talking about what we all know as self-leadership. Your leadership ability determines your level of effectiveness. Simply put, if you're not a good self-leader, you will not be effective in reaching your own potential. Creative Warrior A excelled because he had a higher ability to lead himself, while Creative Warrior B did not. Are you thinking about your own potential here? So what can you do to get and stay on top of your game, to stretch yourself a bit more and unleash more of your potential? Here are a few tips you can follow that will give you a start.
Tip number 1, value experience with reflection. Life comes at us fast and furiously. We barely have the time to properly process all we're experiencing. No matter what we do in life, there's always a need to stop or pause and let the events we have encountered catch up with us. Reflection is one way to do this. No better way to have this sink in than with Mark Twain's quote. We should be careful to get out of an experience all the wisdom that is in it. Not like the cat that sits down on a hot stove lid. She will never sit down on a hot stove lid again. And that is well. But also, she will never sit down on a cold one anymore. Let's not be like the cat, okay? Okay. Reflection turns your experiences into insight. It helps you figure out how not to throw the baby and the bathwater out. So take the time to reflect. This is very, very important. Tip number 2, invest in training. This is so important. I can't even stress it enough. What took a wise person 20 years to figure out can take you 2 hours to learn if you're willing to invest in learning from them. Find a mentor, get a good coach, join a mastermind group. It's difficult to stretch or raise that lead if you have only yourself to follow. Tip number 3, do something beyond yourself. The difference between what we do and what we're capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems, Gandhi said. Now, you need to get out of your comfort zone, not your strength zone. Always stay in your strength zone, but by all means, please kick yourself out of that comfort zone. Take that trip you have been saying you will take for 4 years now. Marry that girl you've been dating for 14 years now. Growing beyond your present capacities starts by being yourself. This way, you get to know yourself and discover more and more of who you are. As a result, you'll get more passionate about life and clarify your priorities. Growing beyond your present capacities continues by learning from others who can do more than you can do. So I stress here again, seek out experts and admirable leaders and ask them for advice and mentorship. The fastest way to get better is to hang around with better people. Which leads us to the next tip. Tip number 4, reflect on who has been an inspiration in your life. Think about the people in your life that have inspired you. What characteristics make them inspiring? Write this down and follow their lead. Tip number 5, make a stop doing list. Rather than focusing on writing a to-do list, how about this? Think of that one thing you never, ever, ever want to see yourself repeat again, ever again. And now write it down and never do it again. And sometimes it is more than one thing. If you diligently follow these tips, you will literally feel yourself stretching and growing. And the more your lead is raised, the more effective you become. Now, I want to hear from you. How can you stretch yourself a bit more to unleash more of your potential? Leave a comment below. And even better, head on over to CoachAminaZ.com, my preferred home for deep conversations, and leave a comment there. Also, once you're there, make sure to sign up for my email list and become an A-lister. You will get my awesome and absolutely free ebook, How to Get to Where You Want to Be. You will get exclusive content also and other goodies only my A-listers have access to. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. And remember, only you can give yourself permission to be all that God created you to be. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you next time on Coach Amina Z TV.